This briefing will cover the principles of war. These principles are found in U.S. FM 3-0. These were originally published after World War I. The Army has modified the original principles, but overall they have stood the test of analysis, experimentation, and practice. The principle of objective drives all military action. When undertaking any mission, commanders should have a clear understanding of the expected outcome and its impact. However, as we are discussing unit operations, we need to have only unit objectives. No one ever won a war on defense. Offensive action is key to achieving decisive results. This is the essence of successful operations. Offensive actions are those taken to dictate the nature, scope, and tempo of an operation. They have the initiative, forcing the enemy to react. Commanders master the effects of combat power to overwhelm enemies or gain control of the situation. Such effects overwhelm the entire enemy defensive system before he can react effectively. When hit, we need to hit hard. This can either be in time, as in everything at once or place, or hit one place with everything. Economy of force is the reciprocal of mass. It requires accepting prudent risk in selected areas to achieve superiority, as in overwhelming effects, in a decisive operation. Economy of force invokes the discriminating employment and distribution of forces. Commanders never leave any element without a purpose. When the time comes to execute, all elements should have tasks to perform. As both an element of combat power and a principle of war, maneuver concentrates and disperses combat power to place and keep the enemy at a disadvantage. It achieves results that would otherwise be more costly. Effective maneuver keeps enemies off balance by making them confront new problems and new dangers faster than they can deal with them. Army forces gain and preserve freedom of action, reduce vulnerability, and exploit success through maneuver. Developing the full combat power of a force requires unity of command. Unity of command means that a single commander directs and coordinates the actions of all forces toward a common objective. It doesn't matter if it's a squad, a division, or in this case, a 1944 German SS Panzer Division. Ultimately, one man is responsible for the actions of his unit. You can delegate authority, not responsibility. This is what the Army refers to as OPSEC, or Operational Security. Essentially, learn to keep your mouth shut. Surprise is the reciprocal of security. Surprise results from taking actions for which an enemy or adversary is unprepared. It is a powerful but temporary combat multiplier. It is not essential to take the adversary or enemy completely unaware. It is only necessary that he become aware too late to react effectively. Simple plans executed on time are better than detailed plans executed late. Commanders at all levels weigh the apparent benefits of a complex concept of operations against the risks that subordinates will not be able to understand or follow it. Remember, a military plan falls apart 30 seconds after contact. Simple plans are easier to carry out once things start going to hell. We will now take a look at a couple of examples to see these principles in operation. The Hussite revolt needs a bit of background, as it is not widely known in the West. Jan Hus was a religious reformer who was executed by the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire thought they had ended the Hussite heresy, and a mob of Czechs led by Jan Žižka threw 7 members of the Prague City Council to their deaths. Jan Žižka was an ex-mercenary who had fought the Holy Roman Empire, including fighting at the Battle of Grunwald while serving in the East. After the death of Jan Hus, Jan Žižka turned a group of peasants into an army. Jan Žižka never lost a battle. To make this even more remarkable, during most of the Hussite revolt, he was completely blind. Jan Žižka learned the use of the tabor while serving in the East. He did not invent it. He did perfect its use, but he did not invent it. They were used in the East prior to the Hussite revolt and would continue to be used long after. Now, the German forces held the city of Kutna Hora, and German-Hungarian forces besieged the Hussites. Jan Žižka launched a charge through the besieging Hungarian forces. Surprise was total. The 19th century German military historian Hans Delbrück claimed that it couldn't have happened as there's no way to charge with a wagon. So in short, he launched a charge right straight through the German-Hungarian forces. The estimated strengths between the two forces and their losses. So how does this compare to our principles of war? First, objective. Yes, the objective was to get out of there. Offensive, yeah, he charged. Mass, yes, everything went with him. Economy of force, there was nothing else there. Maneuver, yes, as a charge. Unity of command, yes, Jan Žižka was the ultimate commander. Security, yes, they kept it as a secret. Surprise was total, and it was a very simple plan, but it worked. Now, Battle of Crécy. French crossbowmen moved forward. The English attacked with a arrow storm plus their artillery. Then the French cavalry charged right through their own crossbowmen. The cavalry were broken also by an arrow storm. There was a second charge which did break through the English archers. However, the English were able to then counterattack into the flank. And during the day there were up to 13 additional charges made. And there was a general advance made at dusk. At the end of the day, the blind king of Bohemia had showed up on the battlefield. Even though they knew that it was hopeless, they charged, as they had made an oath while in Prague that it was either victory or death. Later, the crown of the king of Bohemia was found and taken as a battle trophy by the English. This is still displayed today by the English royal house. That is why they have a royal crest which says Ich dien, which means in German, I serve. It's a battle trophy taken in the 14th century. So how does this turn out? Yes, the English had an objective, basically in this case, simple survival. They did not take the offensive. They did mass everything in one place. They did have economy of force, as there was nothing else in anywhere else. They did not maneuver. There was an ultimate commander. They did keep it a secret. It was a total surprise. While the longbow had been known for probably at least 1,000 years, this was the first wide-scale use of longbowmen as in mass fire as an indirect fire weapon. Yes, it was indeed came as a surprise to the French, and it was a very, very simple plan. So, in summary, these are the principles of war, and they must be kept in mind whenever planning military operations.